Sable wrestler.
Rena Marlette Lesnar, better known as Sable, is an American model, actress, and former professional wrestler. She is primarily known for her stints in World Wrestling Entertainment. Before gaining popularity in the world of professional wrestling, Lesnar worked as a model for L'Oreal, Pepsi, and Guess. Along with her second husband Marc Mero, she began working for the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, in 1996. As Sable, she was one of the first WWE divas, and she gained considerable popularity, surpassing that of her husbands. After feuding with Luna Vachon and Jacqueline, Sable became the second WWF Women's Champion after the title was reinstated into the company. After becoming a heel and leaving the company, Mero filed a $110 million lawsuit against the company, citing allegations of sexual harassment and unsafe working conditions. In 2003, she returned to the newly renamed World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, where she was put into a storyline feud with Torrie Wilson, and another storyline as Vince McMahon's mistress. In 2004, she left the company to spend more time with her family. Outside of wrestling, Lesnar has been featured on the cover of Playboy 3 times. The April 1999 issue of the magazine with her on the cover was one of the highest-selling issues in Playboy history. She has also guest-starred on several television series, including Pacific Blue. She also appeared in the film Corky Romano.
Early life.
Rena Greek was born in Jacksonville, Florida. She was active in her youth and was interested in activities such as gymnastics, horseback riding, and softball. After winning her first beauty pageant at 12 years of age, she eventually became a model in 1990, working with companies such as L'Oreal, Pepsi, and Guess. Greek married Wayne W. Richardson in 1986. The couple had a daughter named Mariah in 1991. The two remained married until Richardson died in a drunk driving accident in 1991. She met her second husband, professional wrestler and former boxer Marc Mero, who had been performing in World Championship Wrestling as Johnny B. Bad, in 1993. Mero also had breast augmentation surgery in 1993 to increase her self-esteem. After marrying Mero in the following year, she broke into the wrestling business through the World Wrestling Federation.
Professional wrestling career. World Wrestling Federation WWF. Debut and storyline with Marc Mero 1996–1998.
Rena Mero made her World Wrestling Federation debut as Sable at WrestleMania 12 in March 1996, escorting Hunter Hearst Helmsley to the ring as he took on the returning The Ultimate Warrior. Mero's first major angle as Sable involved her then real-life husband, who debuted at WrestleMania 12 as Wildman Marc Mero. The storyline started when Marc Mero witnessed Sable being mistreated by Helmsley backstage, so Marc Mero attacked Helmsley and took Sable as his manager. She remained Mero's manager until his injury in 1997. Between 1997 and the time he returned from his injury in 1998, Sable became popular on her own. In her next storyline, a returning Marc Mero, now known as Marvelous Marc Mero, became jealous, refused to let Sable get any of the spotlight, and mistreated her. The duo entered into a feud with Luna Vachon and the artist formerly known as Goldust, which climaxed in a match at WrestleMania 14 in March 1998. Sable delivered a superkick to Goldust and executed a Sable Bomb, a version of the Powerbomb, on Luna. She also delivered a TKO and pinned Luna to finish the match, with the crowd chanting Sable's name in the background. At the following pay-per-view event, Unforgiven in April 1998, Sable lost to Luna in an evening gown match after being distracted by Marc Mero. After Marc's interference at Unforgiven, Sable came to the ring and challenged Marc to a match. Sable then kicked him in the groin and delivered a Sable Bomb to get revenge. Sable eventually broke away from Marvelous Marc Mero, who debuted Jacqueline as his new manager, resulting in a storyline feud between the two women. The two met in a bikini contest in July 1998 at Fully Loaded. Sable, only wearing impressions of hands painted on her exposed breasts, won the contest after receiving the most cheers from the audience. The next night on Raw, however, Vince McMahon disqualified Sable from the previous night's contest since she did not actually wear a bikini, and the trophy was then awarded to Jacqueline. In response, Sable gave McMahon a double finger. At SummerSlam, Sable and her mystery partner, Federation newcomer Edge, defeated Mark Mero and Jacqueline in a mixed tag team match.
Women's champion and heel turn 1998 to 1999.
Sable and Jacqueline faced off for the newly reinstated WWF Women's title on the September 21, 1998 edition of Raw. Jacqueline claimed the title after Mark Mero interfered. On November 15, 1998 at Survivor Series, she dropped the title to Sable, who won after powerbombing both Mark and Jacqueline during the match. During this time, Rena had a guest appearance on an episode of the USA Network show Pacific Blue. Sable then briefly entered a storyline where she was forced to play a subservient role to Vince and Shane McMahon, but the storyline was cut short. In 1999, as part of a new storyline, Sable was attacked by a masked woman named Spider Lady, who turned out to be Luna. Sable defeated Luna in a strap match at the Royal Rumble after an assist from a planted female Sable fan, WWF newcomer Tori. Tori's debut signified a change in Sable's persona. After the Rumble, Rena, under her Sable ring name, was featured as the cover girl for the April 1999 issue of Playboy. The issue was one of the highest-selling issues of Playboy ever. Surrounding the release of the issue, the Sable character turned heel by going Hollywood, and having an inflated ego. Rarely defending her title, Sable continually berated her fan Tori, and she feuded with both Tori and Luna Vachon, who had turned face. She debuted a new catchphrase, "This is for all the women who want to be me and all the men who come to see me," and a dance move called the Grind. The feud with Tori led to a match at WrestleMania 15. During the contest, Nicole Bass debuted as Sable's bodyguard and helped Sable win the match. Sable went on with Bass, making Bass do all of her dirty work. Sable continued to hold the championship for almost 6 months, but on May 10, 1999, Deborah won the Women's Championship from Sable in an evening gown match. Normally in an evening gown match, the winner is the woman who forcibly removes her opponent's dress, which Sable did. As part of the storyline, WWF Commissioner Shawn Michaels, however, ruled that the woman who had lost her dress was the winner, making Deborah the new women's champion. Off-screen, Sable was in a dispute with the WWF, which is why she was stripped of the title on screen. Sable at this time was also very unpopular backstage, to the extent that Sean Waltman has since admitted to putting feces in her bag on her last day with the WWF in her first run.
Post-WWF 1999 to 2001.
In June 1999, Rena Mero quit the WWF and filed a $110 million lawsuit against the company, citing allegations of sexual harassment and unsafe working conditions. She claims to have filed the lawsuit after refusing to go topless. During the course of the lawsuit, Vince McMahon countersued Rena over control of the stage name Sable. Sable reduced the amount she was seeking in damages, and they eventually settled out of court in August 1999. Sable used her real name for her appearance in the September 1999 issue of Playboy. She was the first woman in history to be given 2 Playboy covers in the same year. After her WWF exit, she made an on-camera appearance as an audience member on World Championship Wrestling's Nitro on June 14, 1999. During this time, Mero made appearances on The Howard Stern Show and Late Night with Conan O'Brien. She also made appearances on television shows such as Relic Hunter and First Wave and in the films Corky Romano as a female bouncer and Ariana's Quest. She released her autobiography, entitled Undefeated, in August 2000. She also released a comic book entitled The 10th Muse starring herself as a superhero. In May 2001, Mero was given an advice column on CompuServe. On November 13 and November 14, 2001, she appeared as the on-camera CEO of the newly formed X Wrestling Federation, XWF, but these were her only appearances with the company.
Return to WWE and departure 2003 to 2004.
Miro returned to World Wrestling Entertainment on the April 3, 2003 episode of SmackDown, reprising her role as Sable. Sable continued to be a heel, villain, and spent several months in a storyline with new Playboy curveball Tori Wilson. Sable followed Wilson down to her matches, talked with her backstage, and on one occasion, she left Wilson in a tag match alone to fend for herself. Sable eventually challenged Wilson to a showdown bikini contest at Judgment Day. After Sable got the bigger applause, Wilson removed another layer of clothing, and special guest referee Taz declared Wilson the winner. After the match, Wilson went up to Sable and kissed her before exiting the ring. Sable then had an altercation with a guest judge Taz, dumping water on him on the following edition of SmackDown, as a means of gaining revenge for declaring Wilson the winner. Sable then feuded with Stephanie McMahon in a storyline in which she was Vince McMahon's mistress. Vince appointed Sable as Stephanie's personal assistant against Stephanie's will, sparking the feud between the duo. During the feud, they competed in several catfights, a food fight, a parking lot brawl in which Sable's bra was ripped off, revealing both her breasts on live television, and a match in which Sable smacked a clipboard over Stephanie's head. At Vengeance, Sable defeated Stephanie after interference by her new ally, A-Train. At SummerSlam, Sable accompanied A-Train in his match against The Undertaker, which he lost. After the match, The Undertaker held Sable so that Stephanie could use a spear attack on her. After SummerSlam, Vince and Sable focused on getting rid of Stephanie for good, so Vince made an I Quit match at No Mercy. In the match, Sable slapped Stephanie and was involved in a scuffle with Linda McMahon. Sable briefly became a face again when she appeared on the cover of Playboy magazine for the third time in her career. On the cover, she appeared with fellow diva Tori Wilson, making them the first WWE divas to pose in Playboy together. Surrounding the release of the cover, the duo feuded with Raw divas Stacy Keibler and Miss Jackie, even though all four women were faces at the time. The two teams squared off at WrestleMania 20 in an interpromotional tag team evening gown match, but the divas started the match in their underwear, making it more of a lingerie match. Sable and Wilson were victorious. The change was rumored to have occurred because Sable had suffered damage to her breast. Following WrestleMania 20, Sable quickly turned heel again and engaged in another short feud with Tori Wilson. The feud culminated at the Great American Bash, where Sable defeated Wilson despite the referee not noticing that one of Wilson's shoulders were knocked down. On the July 1 edition of SmackDown, Sable was defeated by Wilson in a rematch. Sable's final appearance in WWE was on SmackDown, when she, Dawn Marie, and Wilson accompanied Eddie Guerrero to the ring in his lowrider. On August 10, 2004, WWE's official website announced that Sable and WWE had parted ways, this time on good terms. Lesnar claimed that she left the company to spend more time with her family.
New Japan Pro Wrestling 2007.
Miro made her debut for New Japan Pro Wrestling on January 4, 2007 at a NJPW show, along with Brock Lesnar as special guests. Miro continued to accompany Lesnar until late June 2007. Miro and Lesnar later departed from the company after Lesnar battled WWE in a lawsuit.
Personal life.
Rena, along with Brock Lesnar, appeared at several New Japan Pro Wrestling shows after her WWE release. After Rena and Mark Miro divorced in 2004, she began dating Lesnar, whom she became engaged to later that year. The engagement was called off in early 2005, but they were engaged again in January 2006. They were married on May 6, 2006. The couple have two sons together, Turk, born June 2009, and Duke, born July 2010. She also has a stepdaughter, Maya, the daughter of Brock's ex-fiancée, Nicole. In September 2012, Rena became a grandmother, as her oldest daughter Mariah gave birth to a baby boy.
In wrestling.
Finishing moves: Sable Bomb, Powerbomb, TKO, Total Knockout, Fireman's Carry Cutter, adopted from Marc Mero, Sable Bomb, Powerbomb, TKO, Total Knockout, Fireman's Carry Cutter, adopted from Marc Mero. Signature moves: Roll-Up, Sublekan Runner, Hurricane Runner, Snapmare followed by a shoot kick to the back of the opponent's head, Roll-Up, Sublekan Runner, Hurricane Runner, Snapmare followed by a shoot kick to the back of the opponent's head. Managers: Tori, Nicole Buss, Tori, Nicole Buss. Wrestlers managed: Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Marc Mero. Mr. McMahon, A-Train, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Marc Mero, Mr. McMahon, A-Train. Entrance theme: Wildcat by Jim Johnston, Wildcat by Jim Johnston.
Championships and accomplishments.
World Wrestling Federation WWF Women's Championship, 1 time, Slammy Award for Dress to Kill, 1997, Slammy Award for Diva of the Year, 1997, WWF Women's Championship, 1 time, Slammy Award for Dress to Kill, 1997, Slammy Award for Diva of the Year, 1997.